We are based actually in the northeast of Spain, in Barcelona area, but we hunt throughout the country because most of the species that we hunt in Spain are native. So that means that we have to travel and hunt them at their natural habitat. So it gives you the chance to travel and visit Spain while hunting, which is, I think, is a great way of visiting a country. Most of the hunts that we offer are mountain hunts, alpine hunts, you know. The most popular species to hunt will be the Spanish Ibex, and we actually have 4 subspecies of Ibex located in 4 different areas. In my case, I was lucky enough to guide the world record back in 2013. So, and since then we have 5 entries at the top 10 of the SCI record book.
Welcome to the R&A Outdoors podcast, fueled by Ripcord Arrow Rest and First Light Hunting Apparel. At R&A, we are a public land DIY conservationists that love to share our passion for the outdoors. So join us and our team as we interview professionals in the industry to share insight knowledge that helps make hunters and anglers more successful. Hey listeners, subscribers, and fellow outdoorsmen and women. This is your host, Lucas Paw, and I'm excited to tell you about some of the sponsors that continue to help make this podcast not only happen, but grow and thrive in this digital world of audio content. This podcast is brought to you by Ripcord Arrow Rest, the bow hunter's #1 fall-away rest on the market. Ripcord is known for 100% full-time arrow containment and their patented drop-dead brake system that eliminates launcher bounce back. Best of all, Ripcord is backed by their rock-solid guarantee. If the original owner has a part break for any reason, it will be repaired or replaced at no charge. And did I mention? Ripcord is located in southwest Montana, where all their products are made with pride in America. Check them out at ripcordarrowrest.com and on their social media feeds. This podcast is brought to you by First Light Clothing and Hunting Apparel. Born in the Rockies in central Idaho, First Light's mission is to create simple, yet proven, versatile gear that provides comfort and performance in any situation while working to promote the pursuit of ethical hunting and stewardship. I recently joined the First Light Pro Staff team and have continued to be impressed year after year in their innovations in engineering of merino wool fabrics. 10 years ago, they started putting out wool fabrics with camo patterns, and immediately this changed the game. Since then, they offer multiple layering systems and kits in various proprietary patterns and continue to raise the bar with their competition. Find them online at firstlight.com or under their social media feeds. Go farther, stay longer. Welcome, listeners, to the R&A Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Lucas Paw, coming to you from Reno here at the Sheep Show. It's been an exciting few days so far. I think we're on day 3 here at the Sheep Show, so a lot of good things happening. The banquets, the 1% Club, a lot of neat activities that go on during the course of the show. Fortunately, the weather's been good enough to get people in and out, so far we've been really blessed with a really good show. This morning, I'm here with a really special guest, Bruno Rosich, who I actually met in Dallas this year with a mutual friend, Jason Quick. Jason has been to Bruno's concession. I believe he brought his father out there and had a really great time, and maybe we can roast Jason a little bit throughout the course of the podcast. But Bruno is a very distinguished outfitter in Spain. He was the 2017 Houston Safari Club Professional Hunter of the Year. So when you think about PH of the Year, that's a huge designation. 8-time nominee for SCI Outstanding International PH Hunter of the Year. So A lot of credentials, a lot of, obviously distinguished accolades with Bruno, and I'm very fortunate this morning to cut a little bit of his time here in Reno to talk to him. So anyway, Bruno, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe, Bruno, if you could, maybe just talk a little bit about, yourself, and then maybe kind of the history of trophy hunting Spain.
Okay. Well, myself as a guide and outfitter, I started back in 1995 with a family-run business with my brother. And we were partners until 2009. And then, working with family is not always easy.
Sure.
And we took the decision just to split. And you know what? Nowadays we have an excellent relationship like brothers. So that was the plan.
Yeah.
And then in 2009, actually 2010, I started trophy hunting in Spain by myself. And since then, I've been offering very specialized mountain hunts in Spain. Our service is very personalized. All our hunts are custom made. Okay. So basically, my clients tells me what they would like to hunt, and we put it together for them. So from the very beginning, from the moment they arrive to the airport in Barcelona or Madrid, to the moment they leave, everything is arranged. Okay. Hotels, guides, transfers, permits, etc.
Gotcha. And thinking about kind of the location in Spain, I guess what part of the country are you guys kind of in terms of proximity?
We are based actually in the northeast of Spain, in Barcelona area, but we hunt throughout the country because most of the species that we hunt in Spain are native. So that means that we have to travel and hunt them at their natural habitat.
Sure.
So it gives you the chance to travel and visit Spain while hunting, which I think is a great way of visiting a country.
Yeah, which I think we'll get to. But I mean, always kind of see Spain as a destination area for
Correct.
A lot of us Americans. A lot of history there, so maybe we can reflect a little bit on that. Thinking about the hunting concession, since '95, so 20 plus years of experience. Maybe talk a little bit about what you have to offer in terms of the lands, the topography, kind of what a hunter would expect when he goes with you.
Well, basically, most of the hunts that we offer are mountain hunts, alpine hunts, I was saying that Spain is a big hunting destination. The Spanish people hunt a lot. And the thing is, we do have, believe it or not, a lot of mountains. It's the second most mountainous country in Europe after Switzerland.
Okay.
So we have the Pyrenees, we have the Sierra Nevada mountains, the Gredos mountains, and you name it, a lot of mountains. So basically, all our hunts are in the mountains, So, the Ibex is a goat, so they live in the mountains. Chamois is a goat, so they live in the mountains. And so anything who is willing to go hunt in Spain have to be ready for a mountain hunt. Yeah. Bring good gear, good hiking boots, and so that's what they can expect, how they can picture it.
Yeah. When you think of the mountains, I think of, I've been to New Zealand Alps, and of course I've hunted all over the Rocky Mountains. Is there anything that compares to Spain, like the Pyrenees and some of those mountains? If you could maybe compare it to some range?
Yeah, I would say the Pyrenees are pretty much like your Rockies,
okay.
And we have actually a lot of snow in wintertime. People don't think about Spain and snow.
Sure.
We have a lot of ski resorts out there.
Okay.
Then Sierra Nevada mountains are, I don't know if you're familiar with the Taurus Mountains in Turkey. It's the same way, it's very broken, huge canyons.
Okay.
So people think, we go to shoot from canyon to canyon. Like, well, maybe we have 1,200 meters to 100 yards, So
sure.
It's very, very big mountains,
Yeah.
And again, with a lot of snow in the top, we're hunting basically around 7,000 feet high at the highest. So some people think that thin air can be a problem. It's not. We usually don't hunt that higher than this because the animals like to be lower because it's more food, so
Sure.
there's more animals.
Gotcha. Okay. Speaking of animals, maybe what we'll do is we'll dive in and just kind of understand the various species of animals that you offer. And, clearly I know you've talked about mountain hunting. So, some of these, will probably sit more in the mountains versus maybe in certain areas. But maybe let's just kind of walk through what species you offer your hunters.
Okay. The most popular species to hunt will be the Spanish Ibex. And we actually have 4 subspecies of Ibex located in 4 different areas. The main thing between the 4 is the configuration of the horns. One of the ones we hunt the most will be the Beceite Ibex. The Beceite Ibex is located 3.5 hours away from Barcelona, depending where you're hunting them. And it's the one that has the widest horns. Then we have the Gredos Mountains, the Gredos Ibex in the Gredos Mountains, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on where you hunt it, west of Madrid. So we'll be more in the center of Spain. And then the other two, the Southeastern and the Ronda, are located in the south of Spain. The Southeastern is located in the Sierra Nevadas mountains and the foothills and all that area. And it's the configuration of the horn is more round, it grows more to the back. And the Ronda is more straight and usually the smallest one.
Okay.
And one of the toughest one to hunt as well.
Okay. In terms of the 4 species of Spanish Ibex, what is the most desirable out of those 4, would you say, when you get most hunters?
I will say that there will be 2. Gredos and Beceite are the biggest. In my case, I was lucky enough to guide the world record back in 2013.
Wow.
So, and since then, we have 5 entries at the top 10 of the SCI record book. So that brought us some cachet.
Sure.
I would say, people like, hey, when they're looking at the book and they see your name, they're like, well, this guy knows where to hunt these animals, So we are probably the outfitter who has better areas for Beceite Ibex, and that's why that's the animal we hunt the most.
Okay.
But then Gredos also, we hunt around 20 permits a year of Gredos, all kind of permits, Because the good thing about Gredos, we hunt in the oldest national preserve. It was created in 1905, just to preserve that species, and then since then. It's amazing that not only the population of ibex has been growing amazingly, also the quality. They have a very good quality. The good thing about this place, they can leave these animals as long as they can. They actually, some of them, they die of age.
Wow, yeah, old age.
But that's a good thing. You have an idea that if an average age for an ibex to live is about 15 years.
Wow.
The average age that we hunted in Gredos was 14 years.
So you're taking them right at probably
Correct.
the most mature age class that they can be.
Correct. Actually, it's fascinating when you're hunting. Most of the hunters, they're looking for the horns, and they look, look at big horns, how beautiful. We look at that too, but we look mainly to the hips. We look to the back legs to see when they start to lose power, to start to get more skinny, and you start to see the bone of the hip.
Okay.
That animal is ready to
They're
be
starting
taken.
to degrade at that
Correct.
point.
And that's a good animal to take. It's like, I always say it's like a farmer with a garden with tomatoes. You can have a beautiful red tomato. It's great for the picture, but it's still green inside.
Yeah.
Let it live another 2 years. Right? In this case, let it age 2 days.
Yeah, a couple
tomato.
more days. Yeah.
But in the case of ibexes, you can let it live, like longer until they start to lose power, and then it's the right time to get it.
And I think that, that's something that when you think about trophy class and quality, in the States, you can hunt anything from, animals like a spike all the way up to a very mature animal. But, the whole trophy hunting, philosophy comes into play. But to me, trophy hunting is about taking the best age, most mature animal, out of the group, because they may die of old age in another year. At the same time, they've had multiple years to procreate and live. So I think that's great from a standpoint of how you guys, age your animals versus just looking at horns, looking at antlers.
Correct.
There's more behind it than that. So that's cool. Bruno, maybe explain a little more about your mountain hunting. So clearly, the Spanish Ibex is one of the most desirable, but you also said you offer Mouflon Sheep and Chamois. So
Correct. We have an exclusive area up in the Pyrenees, about 3 hours north of Barcelona, right in the French border. We have around 14,000 acres of land. And in there is where we hunt the free-ranging Iberian Mouflon Sheep.
Okay.
And then we hunt also Pyrenean Chamois. And in the same area, we have other species like Roe Deer, which is a spring hunt, and as well as Iberian Red Stag and Fallow Deer. And then a ton of pigs, a wild boar, what you call the Russian boar.
Yeah.
And so that's the other 2 animals, Pyrenean Chamois and the Mouflon. It's if somebody loves to hunt in the mountains and is in very good shape and is willing to have a challenging hunt, that's his hunt.
Sure.
Because it's one of my favorite hunts to do in Spain.
In terms of the mountain hunting, do you tend to see more method to take rifle hunters? Do you take archery hunters, or what's kind of your breakdown for method?
In my case, I have, and I still will have, I guess, some bow hunters. But this type of hunting, you're definitely more effective with the rifle.
Sure.
You know, mountain hunting, especially these species, are not easy to get within a 40-yard, 50-yard distance. And in my case, that I'm very picky with the age. I see that some other areas where they're hunting with the bow, they're taking younger animals because basically the bow hunter takes the opportunity.
That's the opportunity, right?
Correct. Which is it's fair, and I don't want any of the bow hunters who's listening to us to get upset with me.
Sure.
But that's my experience.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very picky with the age, and I wanna do a good management. And I think that with rifle you do a better management than with bow and arrow.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, I hunted in New Zealand, and I started with my bow and had gotten up to about 80 yards of this tar that, with a 40-mile-an-hour wind, it became very clear what the right ethical method to take was. But, you know, mountain hunting is difficult, even in the States, for, you know, sheeps and, you know, Rocky Mountain goats. I mean, it's tough hunting, you know, with a bow. So that makes sense, you know, that rifle or firearms become more of a desirable method to take. And just on some of the other deer species, you know, your Roe deer, clearly Roe deer are somewhat of a desirable species as well because they're not very prevalent, right? Versus like the red stag and some of the other fallow deer.
And it's a very European animal to take, you know, for you guys, for Americans. If you think about an European animal, most of the people, what they think first is a Roe deer.
Sure.
And the good thing about the Roe deer, as I said, is mainly a spring hunt. We can hunt it from April till August, and then from September to late October. Mm-hmm. But the best time is April, May, when it's just starting the spring. There's no grass inside of the woods, and all the grass out in the field, so they start leaving the woods and looking for this fresh grass. So it's when you have more chances, and it's more fun to hunt them.
Yeah.
I've been told I never hunted mule deer in the United States, but many of the American hunters that hunted roe deer with me in the Pyrenees, which is I would like to say that's a roe deer that lives in the mountains, not in the plains. They say that it's really similar to the way you hunting here at mule deer.
Okay.
And everybody who hunt them, they actually absolutely love it.
Huh. Is there any time that you're hunting these animals during their breeding cycle or their rut, or is it more of when the green grass is there and their nutrient base is better? Or?
Okay, the roe deer, the rut, usually late July, early August, which is a very good time of the year to hunt them as well. But let me tell you something. It's so hot that you have 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening.
Gotcha.
For a local hunter like me, that I can just wake up earlier, go kill 1 hour of my morning hunting roe deer, go back to the office, it's awesome, and then kill another hour in the evening. For someone who comes from here, from United States, just for 1 hour in the morning where I'm eating, I don't see the point.
Yeah.
So that's why we try not to offer it, because it's not as fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I'd like to really understand, so I sign up to come to Spain for, let's say 2019, and I guess I want to kind of understand, what would the hunter expect coming out to your concession, and maybe break it down from, travel preparation to once they get there in the lodge, and just kind of what a hunter would expect.
Correct.
Even a non-hunter as well, if desired.
Yeah. I will start first with the preparation of the trip. A lot of common question that people ask me is, can I take my gun? And of course, yes, we are a gun-friendly country. And there's a little bit of paperwork that we need to do through the Spanish consulate, but it's very simple, and I will assist. I assist all of my clients. And then the preparation day, I always tell them, try to practice, shoot as much as you can. Try to be ready to shoot up to 350 yards if possible. The farther, the better.
Sure.
Not because I want them to shoot far, it's just because I want them to be comfortable when it comes to a moment that you need to take that shot, you know? And then exercise, in the best shape possible, because it's not a matter of they're not going to make it. They're going to make it, but I want them to enjoy it. If you're in good shape, you're not going to be buffing and buffing, You're going to enjoy the view, the scenery, the animals. Yeah. So I always said, try to come in good shape. And then once they come to Barcelona or Madrid, I always suggest them to spend a couple of days either in Madrid or Barcelona for two reasons. Mainly for getting rest and try to beat the jet lag, which always can be an issue, because we are between 6 to 9 hours ahead, depending on where in the United States you are.
Yeah.
So that can be.
So there's kind of an acclimation period there for them.
Correct. And then also both cities offer so much. Barcelona was founded by the Romans 200 years before Christ. Since then, the Moorish, the Cartagineses, the Ottomans, everybody was there. So we have so much to show, Plus, in Barcelona, it's very related to the history of America. Christopher Columbus' documents are stored in Barcelona. Then the architecture in Barcelona, it's amazing. The cathedrals that we have medieval cathedrals. We have the last cathedral that's not even finished. So it's so much to do, and then very good restaurants, very good shows, great shopping, and then very good weather. So it's definitely a very touristy destination, and it's really worth it to spend a couple of days before the hunt starts. Then whenever we decide that we're going to start the hunt, we pick up the clients at their hotel, and then we drive either to the Pyrenees, to Beceite, to wherever they want to go. And then when we get to the first hunting destination, the first thing we do, we zero the rifles. We make sure that either he's bringing his rifle or using mine. I want to make sure that that rifle is 100% sure and 100% accurate. And if in the case that that he's using my rifle, I want him to feel the trigger, and then build confidence in this rifle. As a hunter, I like to shoot with my own rifle.
Sure.
If you have the chance to shoot it to the target 3 or 4 times, how this rifle reacts. And then when you're hunting, you're better.
You're
shot.
comfortable.
Correct. And then from there we go hunting. We go hunting, and usually the day, depending on what you're hunting for, depending also on the time of the year we're hunting. When the days are longer, then during the day the animals bed down. Usually it warms up about, depending on the time of the year, but high 60s, maybe low 70s. And so sometimes we make a break. If we are close to the hotel, we might go back to the hotel, have a rest, have something for lunch, and then we hunt again in the afternoon. When the days are shorter, usually November, December, or March, it's when usually we don't come back to the hotel. We just leave in the morning, come back in the evening. We pack lunch. Depending where we're hunting, what type of hunting we're doing, we put either I can get some Spanish sausages and jamon, Spanish ham, cheese, and fresh bread. And if it's more a mountain hunt, like a chamois or a Mouflon Sheep, where the weight is an issue, usually we go with protein bars.
Okay.
And I always ask the client what he prefers, and we can pack either one or the other. And then we always, we come back to the lodge or to the hotel, and they always have a nice dinner, Mediterranean cuisine. We are very picky with the places where we eat and where we stay, because I think it's very important, to offer that good service. Yeah. And of course, good Spanish wines. We have very good wines. Most of our clients, besides the exercise that they do while hunting, most of the time they come back home with a little bit of extra weight.
Hey, yeah. But that means you met the objective, right?
Right, exactly.
So part of what you were saying, so once you pick them up, and depending on the species they're going to hunt, this isn't like your typical, I would say, safari where you go to one place and you're there for, 7 days. And I mean, this could be, depending on if you're hunting, if you're hunting the Gredos in one place, then you want to hunt Roe Deer, you could be in 2 different locations. Correct. Throughout the course of the hunt then? Yeah,
most of our huntings are like this. For multiple species, except for the Pyrenees, it's very strange that we stay in the same place hunting 2 different species. And that actually gives you a chance, as I said, to visit the country. And this is very exciting especially for the non-hunters. Spain is, as we were saying, we have so much history and culture that I really invite the non-hunters to join us in this trip, because they're going to have as a good time as a hunter will. We can provide them a tour guide that she will be traveling with us from the very beginning. So what we do is in the morning, the hunter and I, we go hunting, I or Oscar or any other guides with us. And then the ladies or the non-hunters, they join the tour guide, and they go explore the highlights of each area. For example, when you're in Gredos, you can go and explore the town of Toledo that used to be the capital of Spain. It's known for the 3 cultures, because the Jewish, the Muslims, and the Christians used to live in peace there once, and it's very rich culturally. You can go to Avila, which is one of the most famous walled towns in Spain, and it has a beautiful cathedral. Go to Segovia, which is famous for the Roman aqueduct that was built over 2,000 years ago and is still there and in great shape. And visit the castle of Segovia as well, etc. And that's in Gredos. When you go to the south, in Granada, to visit the Alhambra, which is was the last headquarters, the last fort of the Muslims when they were in Spain until they were expelled back in 1492. Or visit the little town of Santa Fe, Spain, the original Santa Fe. That's where Christopher Columbus and the Catholic monarchs signed the documents, the private documents, to allow Christopher Columbus to go to the East India and that being America. So you're there, like, wow, that's the beginning of my history, and that's just by the hunting area. So we try to put all these things together. So
that's incredible.
Overall, it's a great experience.
Yeah, and you think about, if you do bring a non-hunter, or even if you come as a group, I mean, it almost seems like you need to spend probably a week on the back end after your trip, just at least to take in some of that, or it's another trip. But that's incredible. Thinking about some of the packages that you offer, I know that you said earlier that they're more custom fit or tailored fit based on the species of animal that the hunter's looking at. But I guess kind of maybe walk through, are they 7-day, are they 10-day? I mean, what kind of can they expect from just a general package standpoint?
We usually count 3 days per species. Again, it depends on the species, and it depends if there is some traveling between different areas, and also it depends on the time of the year. But for example, a package that we put together very commonly, and it's the combination of Gredos Ibex and Beceite Ibex. So the hunter and his party, they land in Madrid. They spend a few days in Madrid. So we pick them up early in the morning, around 6:30 in the morning in Madrid. Then we drive for 2 hours. We get to the lodge. Actually, it's a hotel. It's a beautiful hotel, and we have breakfast for 30 minutes. And at 9 o'clock, we leave. We zero the rifle, and we're hunting. So that first day, we are already hunting.
Yeah.
Then when we finish that hunt, it can be 1 or 2 days, depending on the luck, we travel to Beceite, which is in the northeast of Spain. We hunt Beceite Ibex for 3 days, roughly. 4 days sometimes, depending if it's in a spring hunt, maybe we'll regard an extra day. And then we finish the trip in Barcelona. So this way, they have the chance to visit Barcelona after the hunt.
Gotcha.
So usually it's a 7-day hunt plus a 7-day trip for before and after and traveling. So in a 14 days vacation, they can visit the biggest and most famous towns in Spain and hunt the 2 biggest Spanish Ibex.
Okay.
So that's a package that we put together, and people absolutely love it.
Yeah, that seems like a good good combination of both locations and different, multiple species.
And then the people who hunt this first, it's very common that a couple of years later, 3 years later, or maybe next year, what they do, they come back and they hunt the 2 species in the south. They fly in and out of Malaga, which is a beautiful town on the coast, also with some Roman ruins and some Arab fort. It's very nice to visit. And from there, we hunt the Ronda. We drive an hour and a half to the Ronda Mountains.
Okay.
And then from there, we have another hour and a half to the Sierra Nevada Mountains. So that's usually a 6-day trip, and they complete their slam. There are other people that they like to do all 4 in one trip. So that's usually a 12-day hunt. We start, as I said, in Madrid, go to Gredos, hunt the Gredos. From Gredos, we drive south, hunt the Ronda first, then Southeastern. And then when we finish with the 2 in the south, we drive northeast towards Beceite. We hunt the Beceite Ibex, and we finish the trip in Barcelona.
Wow, that sounds like a busy 12 to 14 days.
It can be. It really depends. I like to schedule in 12 days. It used to be 14, but it was too many days. There are some other people that they schedule 10 or less. The way I like to hunt, I like to pass animals that have potential. I don't like to be rushed. That's why I like to have 12 days. And you can have 1 day of bad weather or just bad luck. So I like not to rush it. And also it's better for the non-hunters, because the non-hunters, this way, they can visit every single area properly while we're hunting.
Sure.
If you just killing and going ahead, then the non-hunter I was planning to see that. I didn't have the chance to see it, you know. So this way, everybody's happy. I had a comment many years ago that I had 2 couples from Mexico, and towards the end of the trip, one of them, well, actually, both of the hunters approached me and said, "Bruno, this is awesome." I said, "Well, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it." He said, "No, you don't understand it. It's awesome because our wives, they're having such a good time. They don't even realize that we're hunting, so it gives us a chance to go hunting somewhere else."
So if they're having a great time, that means they're going to get more opportunity.
And that's our goal, that everybody has to have a good time.
That's great. And I think the experience is so important. I mean, beyond, the take of the animals. I think it's just the whole experience,
Correct.
right? I mean, it's a different country. It's a place that you talk about all the history there. I mean, when I think of Spain, I think of Barcelona, I think of the Olympics. Like when I was a kid, the Olympics came there. So there's so much, raw history, and you talk about, Christopher Columbus and all just incredible amounts of history there that, you probably couldn't take it all in one trip, but
No.
it sounds like you may want to split your slam up and maybe come twice to capture that.
I personally suggest it. A lot of people push the Spanish Ibex Grand Slam, and I don't get me wrong, I would do it every year.
Yeah.
But my experience says that I think that I see it that they enjoy it better if they do it by portions.
Yeah.
You get
Take
more
a couple
focus
trips.
on each area, and it takes time to do things properly.
There's probably less pressure too. I mean,
Yes.
you think about harvesting 4 animals in 12 days. I mean, it's probably a grind to some extent. Like say if you get a day of bad weather, so if you can break it up a little bit and maybe do 2 and 2, it'd probably make for a little better experience.
Definitely.
Okay. So once the animals are harvested, maybe talk a little bit about, the process of taxidermy,
Correct.
trophy shipment. Sometimes, folks want to use their own taxidermists back in the States, or maybe you guys have preference there. Kind of walk us through that process.
Sure. What we do is we work with taxidermy in Barcelona area. That he's very, very good and very organized, that's why I like to work with him. And we actually offer both to our clients. There is some clients that they prefer to do the taxidermy here in the U.S. because they have a trophy room and they will know exactly how they want it. And but in the other hand, it's true that our taxidermy, he knows the species very well.
Yeah.
And he mounts them very, very, very nicely. So I know it's something that I don't like to push. We offer it, and they can choose whatever, either one way or the other. Now, when the animal is either mounted in Spain or ready to be shipped, what we do is, then in the case that he's not going to mount it, we're going to tan the hides and boil and disinfect the skulls to the point that literally you could, when you get it home, you can hang it on the wall and do a beautiful European mount. It's that clean, And then we credit, and we have to do some paperwork like vet certificates and stuff like this. And then we send the crate to customs. They estimate the cost of shipping, the freight and everything, and then we contact the client and we send him an invoice for the cost of the first taxidermy, vet certificate, the crating, and the shipment itself. And they wire the money, and we send them the box.
Okay.
So that we used to do in the past to put all the trophies together in one box. But what happened? We used to send it to Texas. So we had not many, but a few complaints about people. I'm talking about maybe 15 years ago. People from the East Coast, they say, I'm paying a shipment all the way to Texas to go back east to the East Coast. So finally, I decided, you know what? This is nothing. I mean, my main goal is I want the client to receive his trophies.
Sure.
So just tell me how you want how not to be shipped. Tell me what broker you want to use in the U.S., what taxidermy you want to use in the U.S., and we'll ship it there. And we don't want to push things because, that's very particular.
Sure.
And so far, so good. The good thing about the species in Spain, except for the Aoudad that we cannot hunt anymore, all the other species that we had in Spain, they don't require a CITES.
Okay.
So that makes the shipment very easy.
Sure.
We have to do some paperwork, but it's very simple, and we don't have any issues shipping the trophies to the United States.
There's a lot of, there's been controversy with certain species of animals coming into the States. I think in like Africa, there's quite a bit. A lot of the airlines are now, not supporting that. So to have, you said a firearm-friendly country, and then obviously a taxidermy-friendly country, I think that's important too, because people want to know if they go there and they, harvest these animals. I think the memories on the wall are, last a lifetime.
It's very important. We always say the hunt is over when this animal is mounted in the wall.
Absolutely.
Not when the animal is in the ground. So we want to make sure that everything goes the way it should be.
Good. Bruno, just kind of reflecting back, thinking, you've been established. You're going on year 23 now. Is there one experience or one hunt or a hunter or just specific experience that you've had where, it was funny, it was fun, it was difficult? Is there anything that jumps out at you over your time of guiding and hunting in Spain?
I'm sure there are many now to remember them. I wasn't guiding. It was with my company. Oscar was guiding. This guy, of course, we're not going to mention any name.
Sure.
He booked the hunt because his friend hunted with me 2 years before. But his friend, he had a terrible accident and actually had to postpone that trip, and he came the year after. So I knew that he was not 100% there. He hunted all 4 ibexes with me in one trip, and he was successful, but I made sure that I made it as easy as possible because he broke his back.
Wow.
So he couldn't ride horses. He had to be careful riding the four-wheel drive. Of course, hiking, he was not doing very well. So I managed to hunt in the areas where it was easier and collect the animals he was looking for. And he shot very nice animals.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty simple hunt. And actually, we finished it in 8 days.
Wow.
So what happened was when he came back home, of course, I learned that after.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you didn't know that going into it?
No. So he talked to his friend, and his friend, he's kind of a new hunter, and he never hunted internationally. So he tell him, "Oh, you have to hunt with Bruno. You'll have a good time. You have to take your wife, all these things, So he was guided by Oscar, my guide, who is excellent, and he started playing goofy the first day. I thought everybody has a bad day, but no, we realized that. He thought it was going to be a very easy hunt. And of course, he was a guy in his 40s. I thought, this guy, we can, physically, we can do more things, Nothing crazy, but instead of using a horse or four-wheel drive, let's hike up there, and things like that. And he wanted to hunt 2 species of ibex and then the Pyrenees. And the Pyrenees are demanding. So anyway, towards the end of the trip, he's hunting in the Pyrenees, and there's some snow in the ground. And he slides, and he starts going down the hill, but nothing bad. And Oscar, who is a big guy, strong, very athletic, he grabbed him from the arm, and he said, "Come on, I'll help you up." And he looked at Oscar and said, "No, let me go. This way the helicopter will rescue me, and that will be over." And come on, I'm not going to let you go. Yeah. Come on, let's go hunting, I think he was tired at that moment, and
kind of hit a wall.
And he had his friends experience in his head, thinking, he told me it will be easy, and that's a little bit more demanding than I thought, and he wasn't ready. I guess he wasn't ready, and so that's why we try. Even a hunt is already booked, we always send videos of our hunts to our clients so they can learn more about it, because I can explain their hunt in 1,000 words, but it's nothing better than images, and especially videos, So we show them these videos so they can see the type of terrain, what type of hunting it is, so they can kind of get ready for that hunt.
And I think that's important because, you can read books and you can do a lot of things, but most humans learn visually or three-dimensionally. So if you can provide them photos, provide them videos, at least they have an idea of what they're in for, right? And if they've hunted alpine or mountain-type topography, they know what to expect.
Right.
And like you say, I was going through your website, which is very informative, which is really around the preparation. And you have a section around health and exercise. Right. And, I think I don't see that very often on a lot of, outfitters' web pages. And it's so important because I think it makes the experience better.
It is.
If they are in better shape.
Definitely. It's frustrating as a guide, that you have all these great hunt organized and you have your expectations, and we're going to get up there and hopefully we see that group that we saw last week, and suddenly you have this hunter that he told you he's in great shape and all these things, and suddenly oops, we cannot get up there, and it's frustrating for both of us, for the hunter as well,
Yeah.
So that's why we try to prepare them,
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you spend a lot of time and money, and it takes a couple of years to prepare for this. That's you should come prepared. So. Bruno, maybe talk a little bit about, 2018, we're here, so you were at Dallas Safari and here at Sheep Show. What other trade shows are you planning to be at this circuit?
We are going to go next week to Houston, to the Houston Safari Club. As you can see, I have a good reputation down there.
PH of the year, yeah.
And I hunted with a lot of their members. I am actually a member of the Houston Safari Club, and I always look forward to that convention. It's fun, and it's worth it for me to go. And then I'm going to go to the SCI show in Vegas. I always go since the beginning. And also it's a very good show. And then this year, actually, I attended a one-night fundraiser in San Antonio, Texas, for the South Texas Dallas Safari Club, or DSC. chapter, and actually it was very good group of people, and it's a smaller venue, but they give you a chance to talk to a lot of folks, and especially we handle with several of their members, so they bring their friends. That's the best publicity that we can have, word to mouth.
Yeah. And thinking about, so we've heard a lot of great things about your concession. So if someone's interested in wanting to come to Spain and hunt with you, I mean, what would you recommend the best way for listeners to reach out to you and start talking about maybe booking a hunt?
Since we spend so much time in the field, the phone is not a good idea because first the different times, zones that we are, and then we usually are hunting and we cannot be on the phone. Yeah. So the best way is just send me an email. I'm pretty good at replying emails, and I will send you, all the information, all the details, prices, conditions, packages, the videos and pictures we're talking about. Even I created files for different sizes of Ibex, so you can learn about how a bronze medal looks like, how a silver medal looks like, and then the price sheet attached, so you know how much it costs, just to avoid any surprise.
Okay.
So usually that's a good starting point, so I always say, just study it. Let me know what you think. Let me tell me what is your main interest, what species you would like to hunt. Come back to me and I will tell you when is the best time, how many days. Then I usually prepare a quote, and with all the details. Again, no surprises.
Okay.
And we go from there. Usually that's the best way to do it.
And then your website, social media, do you have outlets that you can let the listeners know about?
We actually, I try, I use Instagram, and I'm pretty active, trying to educate hunters that never hunted in Spain what to expect and what, because with all this social media, there is a lot of good stuff, but there's a lot of things
that can be good and bad.
Exactly. Yeah. And now that it's funny that we can see what other people are hunting, and I don't want to get me wrong, there's a great outfitters out there, but there are some that are not doing things right, and it just breaks my heart when I see these animals that are still young. I mean, everybody commits mistakes, don't get me wrong. But when you see these guys shooting young animals constantly, and they tell you, oh, wow, Ibex of a lifetime, or great bronze medal, like, no, you're lying to your audience. You're intoxicating them.
Sure.
So what I try to do through my Instagram account is just to educate the hunters that they're willing to come to Spain.
Okay.
What is an old animal? Why I'm taking an animal or not? What we talked before, it can look like the horns are very big, and they're big, but the last growth is still big. So the animal has potential. So let it grow, let it get older, and shoot him another year. Things like that, so people can understand better what they're going to, when they're going to hunt with me, and we're not going to shoot just the first Ibex we're going to see. We're going to just take our time and try to shoot the right animal that will need to be shot.
Well, I think if you use social media platforms for education purposes, like you're talking about, there's a lot of good in that, right? Yeah. And you do see some of it. It's about how many followers do you have, but which can really mean nothing. I mean, if you have quality photography, I've always thought if you provide quality content on social media, that attracts people, and it can sometimes attract a different level of people too.
And real material.
Yeah.
I recently got contacted by another account that they have almost 30,000 followers, and they were trying to sell me that account. It's like, but why I want to have 30,000 followers that I don't know who are they? Are they real?
Yeah.
Are they hunters? Are they willing to hunt with me? So my account, I don't know, to be honest with you, how many followers I have now, maybe 1,500 or 1,600, something like that. But I know that all of them, they're real hunters. They follow me. I have roughly a 20% feedback, which is actually pretty good. So I'm not. I mean, I use it as a tool to show, to promote and to educate. But I don't want to be the one who has the biggest, the most followers and things like that.
I hear you. No, that's nothing wrong with that. Well, Bruno, this has been really great. I've just, again, really thankful that I met you when we were in Dallas, and it's just neat meeting different outfitters across the world, especially, Spain to me has always been a destination area and a place on my bucket list. And it's just, it's good to understand kind of what you do and how you do it. And clearly sounds like a quality experience, which is what I think, hopefully the listeners leave with today is if they do come to Spain and come to your outfit, that they will leave with a quality experience. And sounds like you have a lot of people come back returning. So that has to say something in itself.
I agree. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, good luck this
Thank
year
you.
at the trade shows, and maybe someday we'll be able to share a hunt on the mountain together
That
sometime.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
Count on me. I really look forward to have you one day in the mountains in Spain with me.
That'd be awesome. Bruno, thank you.
Thank you, Lucas.
All right, take care. And thanks, listeners, for listening, and we'll catch you next time for another venture on the RNA Outdoors podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Lucas Paw, host of the RNA Outdoors podcast. Please check out Podbean and iTunes. If you have an iPhone or iPad, go to the podcast app on your device, search for RNA Outdoors, and hit the purple subscribe button. When doing this, it will automatically upload when new podcasts are loaded, and they will download into your queue. For Android users, you can access the podcast through Podbean, Stitcher, or use our website, www.rnaoutdoors.com/podcast. In addition, under the RNA Outdoors podcast channel, please leave a review and a 5-star rating. These reviews help boost our popularity and outreach. You can also follow us on our social media outlets, Twitter at RNA Outdoors, Facebook, RNA Outdoors, and Instagram, Rod and Arrow Outdoors. All links are in the show notes as well. If you like what you've heard, we hope you'll pass along our channel to your friends and colleagues. Keep up the good fight. We cannot sit by and watch the public lands devoted to wildlife protection wither away. There's simply too much at stake. Make your voice heard, speak up, and get involved with conservation efforts, and know that every little bit helps. As we say on the mountain, go farther, stay longer.